Hello my friends, and welcome back to my channel. Today, we're going to talk about a game I've been playing a lot of and really enjoying, Storybook Brawl. Storybook Brawl is an auto-battler, much like Teamfight Tactics or Hearthstone's Battlegrounds, and it's free to play on Steam. I first became interested in this game when I realized that several Magic pros were involved on the design team, such as Matt Nass, Raptor, and more recently LSV. I've had several stream viewers and YouTube commenters ask me how to get started in the game, and I couldn't find an introduction video I liked, so I decided to make one. Like Hearthstone's Battlegrounds, Storybook Brawl brings the auto-battler genre into a digital card game space. The gameplay scratches the same itch as drafting in Magic the Gathering, doing an arena run in Hearthstone, or going on an expedition in Legends of Runeterra. I'm going to teach you about gameplay concepts rather than talk about specific units and builds. Those may change over time, but the core gameplay loop will likely remain the same. If you're looking for up-to-date builds and strategies, check out some of the Storybook Brawl gameplay videos right here on my YouTube. If you're new here, please do consider subscribing and turning on notifications. You'll get an alert when there's new content and help the channel grow. When you're just getting started, you can join a practice lobby with bots. There's no human opponents, no timers, and you'll have plenty of time to read all the cards. I would suggest this for your first few games as you'll get familiar with the basics. Let's get into some gameplay. A game begins when 8 players join a lobby. Before anything else happens, you'll be given an option to select a hero. This is the first decision you'll make in the game. Each hero has a different ability that will shape the way you play your game. You can think of these heroes like a build-around card from a Magic draft, or like choosing your class in a Hearthstone arena run. In other videos, we'll go deep on the different hero abilities, but for now, feel free to pick one that looks fun. None of the heroes are bad or unplayable. You'll always be able to select 2 of the heroes. 2 of the others when you start will be locked. You'll need to purchase them with the in-game currency Fairy Dust. You get dust for placing in the top 4 of a lobby. Once you unlock a character, it'll always be unlocked for you when it shows up in the selection screen. I found the game is quite generous with Fairy Dust, and you can have most of the characters you want unlocked relatively quickly without spending any real-world money. Once you've picked your hero, Storybook Brawl gameplay is divided into 2 phases. The shop phase, where you purchase units, and the brawl phase, where your units battle one of your 8 opponents. When you win a brawl, you deal damage to your opponent. If you lose a brawl, you'll take the damage. We'll go over how damage is calculated in a bit. For now, just know that you'll deal and take more damage as the game goes on. The shop phase is where you will make the decisions that will lead your characters to victory or leave you as the first one out of the lobby. Let's go over all of the important UI elements in the shop. For starters, you'll have gold to spend. Your first shop starts you with 2 gold. Each subsequent shop will give you 1 extra gold until you hit the cap of 12 gold. You can see how much gold you have near the center of the screen. You'll also see 4 things you could buy in your opening shop. This is where the decisions come in. Much like in a pack of Magic cards for a draft or a selection of traits for your Runeterra expedition, you'll make picks round after round that shape your cast of characters and will eventually decide if you win or lose. 3 of these cards in your first shop will be characters, and 1 card will be a spell. You'll see these near the upper middle of the screen. You'll also note 7 empty spaces near the lower middle of the screen, and 3 black boxes to the left. The 7 spaces are where you'll arrange your brawlers after you've purchased them. We'll go over how to organize them in a bit. There's also 4 spaces below the 7 slots. This is your hand or bench. You can hold units here that you don't want to put on the board, but aren't ready to sell back yet. The 3 black boxes are slots for your treasures. You'll be getting some of them soon too. There's a few other UI elements I'd like you to notice here. On the left, you'll see 8 pictures with numbers over them. These are the opponents you're in the lobby with, the heroes they're playing, and their life totals. If you hover over one of them, you can see the name of your opponent, what level they are, and read their hero power. You'll also notice on the lower right your own hero portrait. If you hover over your hero, you can see your hero power again in case you forgot. You'll also see a green number in a circle. This is your level. We'll talk about leveling in a moment. You'll see a red number in a heart. This is your life total. When this hits 0, your game is over. Lastly, there's a reroll button to the left of your gold total. You can use this button if you don't want to purchase anything from the shop and would like to see a new shop. It costs gold to do this and is often not something you'll want to do early, as you want to get all 7 of your brawler slots filled up. If you want to buy more things from the shop but ran out of gold, you can click the lock button. It's near the upper right and looks like a padlock. This means you won't see a new shop in the next shop phase. Anything still in this shop will be here for you when you get back. Okay, now that you know where everything is, let's buy our first unit. Just select the unit you want and drag it to one of the 7 open slots. We'll come back to the shop phase for some strategy talk in a moment, but for now, let's talk about the brawl phase. In the brawl phase, you'll be matched up against an opponent from your lobby. You can actually see who you're going to brawl in the shop phase. Your opponent for the next round will have a gold frame around their hero portrait. Your first battle will be simple. There's usually only one unit on either side, but the battles will get complex quickly, so let's talk about how they work. Your characters will attack from left to right. They'll attack one of your opponent's front row characters at random. Your opponent's characters will follow the same pattern. Who attacks first is random. The characters kind of smash into each other and deal and take damage equal to the power and toughness printed on the card. The first number is how much damage they deal. The second is how much damage they can take before they die. This means you'll have some decisions to make when it comes to character positioning. You can likely already see that if you want to protect a character, it does not belong on the front row. The battle ends when there are no characters left on one side of the board, or both sides. You can actually tie. If there are characters left over, damage is dealt to the loser. Damage is calculated by adding your hero level, that number in green near your portrait, plus 1 for each surviving character, or plus 3 if that character is upgraded. What's an upgraded character? I'm glad you asked. Let's go back to the shop. When you buy 3 copies of a character, they merge together to form an upgraded copy. The stat lines, power and toughness, from the first 2 copies are combined. This new copy will take up less space than the old 2 copies and let you field more characters in the next brawl phase. In addition, when you combine characters, you'll get to pick a treasure. Each character has a cost associated with it, either 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. This number is how much gold you'll have to pay to buy the character, and also a general guide to how powerful the character is. When you start the game, you're level 2, and you'll only see 2 cost characters. As you level up, you'll see more expensive and more powerful units, but they'll cost more. Leveling isn't something you do actively. It happens passively as you play the game. Every 3 rounds, your character will gain a level, up to the maximum of 6. Treasures follow the same rule. When you combine 3 2-cost units, you'll see a level 2 treasure. When you combine 3 6-cost units, you'll see a level 6 treasure. Like the units, the higher the level the treasure, the more powerful it often is. Treasures change the way the game is played and give you more direction about which characters you might want to buy. Let's look at some of the 2-cost characters and treasures, talk about how they work in the first few turns of the game, and learn the basic mechanics. Bad Billy Gruff is a good example of a 2-cost character. You'll notice Billy deals 2 damage, can take 3 damage, and is noted as an evil animal. That evil animal part doesn't really mean anything on its own, but it does affect how Billy will combo with other cards. For example, there's a level 3 character named Queen of Hearts that gets a bonus when evil characters die. Baby Dragon is another 2-cost character. Like Billy, the dragon has power and toughness stats, 3 damage and 2 health in this case, and is noted as a dragon for other cards that care about dragons. Baby Dragon also has our first ability, Flying. Flying means that the baby dragon will attack the back row first instead of the front row. Baby Dragon is a great way to go after your opponent's fragile support units early. Let's look at a support unit. Mad Mim is a 2-cost support character. She has a stat line of 0-3, meaning she's not really going to be attacking, but she has a special ability as a support character. Any characters in front of her will get a +3 bonus to their attack. This makes Mim a good early backline unit to pump up smaller attackers. Support units like Mim only provide their bonus if they're on the backline and a character is in front of them. Black Cat is a 2-cost character that shows off another ability, Last Breath. The cat is a 1/1, with Last Breath summon a 1/1 cat. This means that when the cat card dies, it summons another cat. The copy doesn't summon another one, but don't worry, there's combos in this game. For example, just put the cat in front of a Mad Mim, and all of a sudden, you've got a lot of stats. Kitty Cutpurse is a 2-cost character with the Slay ability. Slay means that you get a bonus when this character attacks and kills an opposing character. You only get the bonus if the Slay character attacks. It getting attacked and killing something does not count. In this case, if the kitty slays, you get an extra gold for your next shop. Just a few more level 2 characters will show us most of the mechanics and abilities left in the game. Sherwood Sure is a ranged character. As my Twitch chat often says, ranged characters cheat. When they attack, they don't take damage, they only deal it. They will still take damage as normal when someone attacks them, though. This makes them another solid backline unit if they have some beefy characters on the front line to protect them. Wizard's Familiar is a 1/1 animal mage that gets +1/+1 when you cast a spell. You'll see more characters that get a bonus when you cast a spell in higher level shops as well. I kind of mentioned spells earlier, but let's go a little deeper on what they are. There will be one of them in each of your shops, they have a gold cost, and they'll have an effect listed on the card. For example, Magic Research. This spell gives a character +1/+1 for 1 gold, and if you win the brawl, they keep the bonus. You can only cast 1 spell per shop though, so pick the one that you want to cast wisely, and if you want a Wizard's Familiar, make sure you buy it before you cast that spell. Our last mechanic to learn is questing, which we can see on the 2-cost unit Cinderella. Cindy is a 2-cost, 2/2 princess mage with the quest Cast 4 Spells. Quest characters don't upgrade the same way other characters do. In fact, you can only ever buy one of them. Once you've bought a Cinderella, you won't see another one in the shops. To upgrade quest units, just do the quest. Once you've cast 4 spells, Cindy will upgrade and give you a level 2 treasure. This selection of characters shows you most of the character abilities at the time of this recording. As you get higher level shops, you'll see higher level characters, but they'll be kind of like these, and that you'll have support characters, quest characters, Last Breath, and Slay characters, for example. Let's look at a few level 2 treasures and learn how they work. Remember, to get a treasure, you'll need to buy 3 copies of a character or complete a quest. There are 3 slots for treasures. If you get a 4th, you'll need to replace one of the ones you already have. You can also skip a treasure if you don't want it. For our first treasure, let's look at Dancing Sword. This is a 2-cost treasure, but you don't actually have to pay for it. That's just to remind you that you'll get it from combining 2-cost characters. The sword is what I like to call a stat treasure. It gives all of your characters +1 attack, adding stats to the board. It may not be a lot of stats, but these can help you slay or just win a brawl. You'll see more treasures with stat bonuses as you level up. Hermes' Boots is a treasure that changes the rules. Instead of it being random who goes first in a brawl, now it's always you. Unless your opponent has one too, then it's random again. This is an example of a treasure that helps enable a particular build. Character compositions, or comps, that are built around the slay mechanic are often very interested in a pair of Hermes Boots. Spinning Wheel is an example of a level 2 economy treasure. You just get an extra gold each round. This gives you an opportunity to buy more characters or have some extra gold to reroll a new shop. When you're choosing treasures, they often fall into these 3 groups: stat treasures, build-around treasures, and econ treasures. You can pick one up depending on what you need. Are you still losing fights and taking damage? You might need a stat treasure. Find yourself with a board full of evil characters? You might want to select the level 3 treasure, Ancient Sarcophagus. You'll see more treasures as you level up, and many of them change the rules of the game in fun and interesting ways. There is a collection tab in the game, and you can use this to see all of the heroes, characters, treasures, and spells in the game. You're welcome to browse this and read all of the cards, or just hop in your first game and learn as you go. Once you have a board and handful of characters, you may need to sell some of your characters to make room for new ones. You can sell a character by dragging it from your hand or the board into the shop. All characters sell for 1 gold, even if you paid 6 or they were upgraded. There's one last thing for us to go over, and then I'll turn you loose for your first game. This game has a limited pool of characters. There are 15 copies of each non-questing character in the pool. The level 6 characters have only 10 copies. This means if 4 people in the lobby are all trying to buy dwarves, for example, then there will be less of them to go around. This limited pool of characters rewards working with what the shop gives you, rather than trying to roll away all your gold trying to find one particular character. When to buy the shop characters and when to roll a new shop is a major strategy decision in the game, and remember, you'll have about 40 seconds to make that call, so think quick. I hope that you found this introduction to Storybook Brawl useful. We could go a lot deeper and cover more units and treasures, and even builds, but I think you're ready for your first game. If you want more strategy, do check out some of my gameplay videos, and remember to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can get all of the latest Storybook Brawl content here on my YouTube channel. Please feel free to ask any questions you have in the comments, and I'll try my best to answer them. Thank you for watching, and good luck in your brawls.